But Mary Magdalene just came in, and she took the oil that she saved. And if you look at the whole story, the story tells that she came and anointed Jesus. She broke the seal of the oil, poured it over his head. It went down all the way to his feet. And in Luke's version, she started kissing the feet of Jesus. And as the oil fell on his feet, she started crying. And with her tears, she wet and washed the feet of Jesus. And she took her hair afterwards. The Bible actually says that she loosened up her hair. Now, it was not allowed for a woman to do that in another man's house. Only in front of her husband, she was allowed to do that. So she loosened her hair, and she took her hair, and she fell down at the feet of Jesus. And with her tears, she washed his feet, and she wiped his feet clean with her hair. Judas is upset. He said, how can she waste all that money to pour all that precious oil over the head of Jesus? And the next moment, Simon is upset. And he said, how can she do this? But do you know that Jesus answered them both? Without even knowing what Judas was thinking, Jesus said, you will always have the poor with you, but I won't always be with you. That's why she anointed me. He answered Simon in Mark, and if you go and look at Luke, it says the same. Jesus answered and spoke and said, Simon, when I came into your home, you didn't even offer water to wash my feet with, but she came and she washed my feet with oil. And very few people had that expensive oil, but she came in and she had it. But if you go and read in Mark and in Luke, you know what Jesus says? He said, quiet and leave her alone. The thing that she's doing is acceptable and is great. And the last thing Jesus tells him is, he looked at them and he said, she has given what she could. You have to get this morning. Jesus said she gave what she could. She couldn't give anything else. She was not good enough. Nobody accepted her. Nobody would invite her into their homes. Nobody wanted anything to do with her because all of them labeled her and said she's a sinner. She's a wicked person. Don't come close to her. Simon was so upset when she came into his home. But here you have to understand that she saved up all the money to purchase that precious oil. She used everything she had because Jesus said it. She gave what she could. She didn't have anything else. That's the only thing she could give. But you know what? If you look at the story, you will understand that she was so tired of her old life. She was so tired of being the sinner that everybody said she was. She was so tired of all the old things, and she had nothing to give. She couldn't come and say, I have done this and I have done this, because everything that she's done was bad and wasn't acceptable to anyone. She had nothing to give. But that moment, and it reminds me of the story of the blind man next to the road. He had nothing, but when he heard Jesus coming past, he shouted out, said, Jesus, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And once again, people came and said, be quiet. Simon, how dare you come into my home? Judas, how dare you waste that money? People will always come against what you have to offer. Do you know that? I once spoke to a man and I said, if the Lord gives you a vision, and if everybody tells you not to do it, it's from the Lord. Because the Lord didn't give them the faith to do what He trusted you for. The Lord gave you the faith to do what He wants you to do. He didn't give it to everybody else. Do you understand? So at that moment, that man had faith. He said, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And he ran. He threw the beggar's robe down. He said, I want nothing to do with this anymore. Because at that time, if you were declared a beggar, if you couldn't see, if you couldn't do, and if you couldn't provide for yourself, they would even give you a cloak and put it around your shoulder and say, we now dedicate you as a beggar. You are allowed to beg in the city. Do you know that? So the Bible says that the man, when Jesus called him, the man took his beggar cloak and he threw it off and he jumped up and he ran to Jesus. You know, sometimes we just have to let go of the things that is holding us back. Sometimes we just have to let go of all the ideas that someone else has of us. Sometimes we just have to let go of the past that is holding you back, the unforgiveness that you have towards people.